Hi everyone. In honor of Koach Nissan, I wanted to share some thoughts and a new initiative that I'm going to be doing this summer, but that will come at the end. So for those of you who don't know, today is a very significant day on the Jewish calendar because it's a day when the Rebbe shared some very fiery, passionate words about Moshiach that really shook us to our core. And whenever you think about Koach Nissan, I think it arouses something and makes you question if you're doing enough to bring Moshiach, which I think is exactly what the Rebbe was aiming for in saying these words. In general, Koach Nissan is the 28th of the month of Nissan. The month of Nissan is the month of Geula, is the month of miracles. And the 28th, it has within it that power, the power of this month, the strength of this month. So it's not by chance that this particular talk happens on this particular day. It's all connected, as the Rebbe tells us all the time, that if something happens on a specific date, it means that date has that energy, right? So it all goes together. Koach Nissan is, that talk of the Rebbe kind of brought out what this day is all about. And I watched Farbrengen last night that the Moshiach office put out, and Rabbi Paul Thiel told an incredible story. I've heard the story before, so you may have as well, but I think it really illustrates the idea of Koach Nissan, so I want to share it here. And if you watch that Farbrengen, amazing. It's a long Farbrengen, highly recommend it. If you only have a few minutes, then my little clip should suffice. So, okay, so the story goes like this. So I don't know like the exact details, but you know, sometimes you get those texts, those chain texts where it says, you know, send this to a certain amount of people, and if you don't, like, chas v'shalom, something terrible is going to happen. And they're like a little scary, you know. If you have really good mental health, you're like, I'm just going to erase this. This is obviously ridiculous. But if you're a little bit the nervous type, you might like sort of be confused, or you might feel compelled to participate just because it's like nerve-wracking, right? So this woman, in those days, it didn't happen through text messages, it happened through mail. So she got this like chain mail, this piece of mail that said like, you must send this to a certain amount of people, and if you don't, something terrible is going to happen. And she freaked out. She was like, I don't know what to do with this. I don't want something bad to happen to me, like, but do I participate in this, right? So she actually wrote to the Rebbe and asked the Rebbe what to do with this piece of mail. And the Rebbe told her to rip it up. But then I think the Rebbe was telling this story to someone, if I'm getting the story correct. And the Rebbe said, but I asked myself, why did this come to my attention, this idea of chain mail? And from there, the Rebbe decided we have to use this idea, but in a positive way. So Rebbe, right? So we have to use the idea of chainmail to spread the message of the Geula. So we should tell people, we should send out a message that people need to send out this message that in order for Moshiach to come, the Jewish people have to want it and ask for it. It has to come from your will. And I believe this is what Koach Nissan is all about. You know, anytime that you think about the Sikha, and Rabbi Paul Thiel articulated it very well in the Farbrengen last night. He said we're all still sort of like, what exactly is it that the Rebbe is trying to communicate to us through that talk? Like, what are we not doing? Like, what are we not getting, right? There's definitely a little bit of that, right? We all kind of feel that way a little bit. At the same time, we could look at the sichas after Koach Nissan and all the things that the Rebbe said to do, and there's an infinite amount more that we could be doing. So I feel that there is that tension of, we know that there's plenty more we could do, and at the same time, there's something the Rebbe is trying to communicate on Koach Nissan that we all feel a little uncomfortable that somehow maybe we're missing it or we're not getting it. Why? Well, because the full Geula is not here yet, and therefore, obviously, there's more that we need to get or do. And we all feel that. And when we think about it, we really feel it. But what I took from the Farbrengen last night and from this story is that the main thing the Rebbe is communicating on Koach Nissan to all of us is you have to arouse your will for Moshiach. And what will come from that is Moshiach. Meaning, there's not one thing, there's not one idea, there's not something we're missing. Yeah, there's probably a lot of things that we need to pay more attention to and a lot of more things that we need to do. But the point of Koach Nissan is you have to want it. If you want it, you will figure it out. If you care enough, you'll make it happen. And we do care, because the whole reason we came to this world, which is the essence of our soul, which means it's who we are, is Moshiach, to bring Moshiach to care about the Geula, to care about every Jew, to care about this world, to make it Diyar B'Tachtonim. That it's the Metzias of who we are as a Jew. But to actually get in touch with that, we have to kachan it. And so a couple weeks later, then the Rebbe said, the straight way to bring Moshiach is to learn in any Geula Mashiach, because you can't want something if you don't know what it is. And so it's kind of like this kind of cycle. Like you have to want it. In order to want it, you have to learn about it. Once you learn about it, you have to rouse your will more to do, and you'll figure it out. And so today on Kach Nissan, I want to just participate in spreading this message that the main thing is to arouse our will, to do whatever we can to bring Mashiach, to bring the full Geula. And the truth is, the Rebbe said some very powerful things after that about Mashiach already being here, already being revealed, that we have to open our eyes, that a lot of things have already happened that we're almost like not even perceiving. And that's a whole other conversation. And that gets me to the next point that I want to make, is that my commitment for this summer is to teach a couple of sichas inside. Now that I'm not preparing classes for my Chabados, I have more time. And I feel the most powerful thing, more than me just like taking an excerpt of a sicha and sharing my take on it, is to learn the sichas inside and talk about it, get into it, and spread the Besaras HaGeula that way. So I look forward to seeing more of you this summer, and please God, we should be bringing about it and learning about it in Yerushalayim with Mashiach and the Beis HaMikdash Hashlishi immediately. Let it be today.